Hello Year 9, hope you're keeping well. This week we move on to ratios. I think some of you might be a little bit behind in your maths right now. I've been noticing that the view count on the YouTube videos is quite low. It would be really great to see you get caught up on some things. Even if you're not able to do all the questions in the tasks, it's still really helpful if you try to watch the videos. It'll give you some idea of what we're learning about. Last week we were talking about trigonometry, which is a really tricky new topic for you. Unfortunately, I didn't see quite as much interaction with you as I would have liked to. There wasn't quite as many people watching the videos as I would like either. This week we do move on to ratio, which is a topic you do already know about. So I'm really hoping that it's something that you are able to do a little bit more of this week. Today we're going to start with just simplifying ratios. You do already know how to do that. You might just need to be reminded. As always, here are your 10 questions for you to do as your starter. It would be best for you to pause the video now and then try the questions and then press play again. All right? All right, there's your answers to today's starter. Make sure that you mark your work in a different color pen, any color pen of your choice. And for question 8, those you don't have to write down all of those numbers. You can have any of those, or there are other prime numbers as well. I just assumed that you would probably choose one of those ones. All right, let's get started on simplifying these ratios. All right, here are some colored shapes. Could you write the ratio of blue shapes to green shapes? So we're looking for blue shapes to green ones. I've got 2 blue ones, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 green ones, 2 to 4. All right, that's all I want you to do. We'll talk about if we could get that answer even better in just a moment. What about these ones? Could we write the ratio of hearts to stars? So we've got hearts and stars. There are 1, 2, 3 hearts and 1, 2 stars. It is really important that you keep the order the same. Hearts was first in the sentence and stars was second, so we need to make sure that the ratio is in that same order as well. Here's another one. We've got the ratio of squares to circles to hearts. So we have 3 things this time. We've got squares, circles, and hearts. So there's 1, 2 squares, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 circles, and there's 1, 2, 3 hearts. So 2 to 4 to 3. All right? All right, big thing for today's lesson. Could we write the ratio in simplest form? Writing ratios in its simplest form are very similar to writing fractions in their simplest form. So if we've got 12 to 20, we need to look and see, do 12 and 20 have anything in common? And the first answer is yes. They both are multiples of 2. They're both even numbers. So I'm going to start by dividing them both by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 20 divided by 2 is 10. Now I need to ask myself, do 6 and 10 have anything in common? And yep, they're still both even numbers, so I can again divide them both by 2, and I'm left with 3 and 5. Now, you might have seen this right away, but you can actually get from 12 down to 3 and 5, 12 and 20 down to 3 and 5 if you just do divide by 4. All right, let's try another one. So again, write this ratio in its simplest form, 15 to 20. What do 15 and 20 have in common? I can think of only 2 numbers they have in common, and that is 1, which is not going to really help me, and 5. So I'm going to divide both of them by 5, and I end up with 3 to 4. So 15 to 20 simplifies down to 3 to 4. Let's try another one. 4 to 8. 4 and 8 are both even, so we can divide them by 2. We can half them, and we get 2 to 4, but we have to check. Are 2 and 4, do they have anything in common? They do. They're both even, so again, we can divide them both by 2, which gives me 1 to 2. So if I simplify it as far as I can, 4 to 8 simplifies down to 1 to 2. Also in its simplest form, a lot of people think that the first number has to be the smallest number. It doesn't. We've got 25 and 5 here. So let's ask ourselves, what do 25 and 5 both have in common? The answer is 5. So we can divide them both by 5. And we get 5 to 1. All right, and it's absolutely fine for the first number to be bigger. In the original ratio, the first number was bigger. So in the simplified ratio, the first number is bigger. Let's look at some other kinds of ratio. So slightly different idea this time. Write this ratio again in its simplest form, but these ones have units in it. We have 50p to 2 pounds. They're not the same units at the moment, so I actually have to change them. I think the easiest thing to do is to write the 2 pounds in pence, so I can have 50p compared to 200p. 200p is the same as 2 pounds, and then I can go ahead and start to simplify these. I'm going to go ahead and simplify by dividing by 10. So I get 5 to 20, and 5 and 20 both have 5 in common, so I get 1 to 4. All right, and if you had noticed right off the bat, you could have actually gotten from the first line to the last line by doing divided by 50, but you can also do the little steps in between. Let's try another one. Oh, we've got minutes this time. We've got 40 minutes to 2 hours. 2 hours is in hours, not in minutes. So we've got 40 minutes, and 2 hours is the same as 120 minutes. So now they're both in the same units. They're both in minutes. We can go ahead and simplify them. 40 and 20, I'm going to go and start by dividing by 10. When I do that, I'm left with 4 and 20. No, 4 and 12, sorry. And then those both have 2 in common. So I've got 2 and 6. And 2 and 6 also have 2 in common. So divide by 2 again. And I'm left with 1 to 3. And like I was saying before, you could have gone from the first step all the way down here by doing divide by 40. Okay, it just depends if you notice the pattern right away. I think there's one more example for us to try together. Oh, a good old centimeters and meters. So we've got 34 centimeters to 1.2 meters. 100 centimeters is 1 meter. So that must mean that 1.2 meters is 120 centimeters. So we can write this as 34 centimeters to 120 centimeters. Now both of these are even numbers, so I'm going to start by dividing by 2, and I've got 17 and 60. I'm pretty sure that 17 is a prime number, so I'm almost certain there's nothing else we can divide into that. I'm pretty sure our final answer is just 17 to 60. If you've got your Casio calculator, you can actually check. You can type in 17 divided by 60, and if it tells you that the answer is 17 over 60, then that's all we can do. Otherwise, if it simplifies it further, then we can continue to simplify it. All right, that's all from me today. There are 3 tasks for you to complete. One of the tasks is quite long, the simplifying one. You don't need to complete all of them, but you should aim to complete at least 10 of them. All right, if you have any problems, you can let me know by sending me an email, or you can write me a comment on ePraise. All right, have a good day.